It's a great time to be around this Alabama football program. And when you talk about offense, the offense in 2025 should be prolific. And we're going to talk about the new offensive coordinator, Ryan Grubb, who Alabama just got from the NFL's Seattle Seahawks. He spoke to the media. He's fired up about working with Alabama's QB room. We'll get into that. We'll play some clips. How about Ryan Grubb working with Ryan Williams? Yeah, the Ryans. All that right here on the Bama Tailgate YouTube channel. Like, subscribe, thumbs up. Great to see you guys today. Brought to you by Pearl River Resort. Let's go. What do you say, everybody? Mick Gillespie. Great to have you guys here on the Bama Tailgate YouTube channel. And let's get into some Ryan Grubb. Ryan Grubb, of course, was Kalen DeBoer's partner. I don't even want to say right-hand man because I feel like these guys kind of work in tandem, and they've gone up through the ranks together. They've had success together. Well, when DeBoer came to Tuscaloosa, Grubb came, but then eventually went back to Seattle and coached as the offensive coordinator for the Seahawks last year. They ended up 10-7. He worked really well with Geno Smith. They threw the ball a lot, and he was let go at the end of the season. And rumors, we kind of had this story going early that we thought that Grubb was coming to Alabama, even towards the end of the Seahawks season, and Alabama hasn't. And you can tell right off the bat that DeBoer is laid back, kind, sometimes that all shucks nature that he has needs to have that guy that might be a little bit more rigid. And I feel like Ryan Grubb brings that to the table. And I think it's a good compliment. I'm excited about what this offense is going to look like. So anyway, Grubb spoke to the media yesterday. And right off the bat, this clip right here kind of got me going. And I said, look, I want to know what he's going to do with these wide receivers. And that's exactly what we kind of see with this. I mean, he's ready for this opportunity to work with these wide receivers and the quarterback. I'll start with the quarterbacks, and then we'll go to the wide receivers, which the room is stacked. But let's start with the quarterbacks, then we'll go to wide receivers.
I think that they each, just like any quarterback, have their own individual, strengths and weaknesses. And I think, Ty has done a good job. I thought he had the biggest jump from day one to day two, just as far as like being able to take in all the information, process quickly and move. Austin's done a really good job of showing command for a young player. And then Keelan is awesome, man. He's very unflappable. And, even when things don't go right, and they invariably will for a freshman quarterback, I think he's done an awesome job of just kind of staying the course and being very steady. So, and he can make a lot of plays. One of the things I noticed, think about Jake Haener way back to Fresno State, who's at the Saints now. Jake had a really whippy, quick release. Once he made his decision, he was very decisive with the ball. I see that with Key a lot. And then Keelan's vision reminds me of Mike a little bit. Penix, he has good, wide vision with the field and can see it even when he doesn't know exactly what's going on. So he's still working through all the processes, but he'll get there. He's a good player.
What's going to be your approach?
So you can tell that Ryan Grubb's pretty fired up about this Alabama QB room. We're going to start with QBs and then swing back over. But he said, look, Ty Simpson, the ability to get better from day one to day two, to suck in everything that he wanted him to do, and then go out there and perform. I think that's a great sign for the guy that you figure should be the leader in the clubhouse to be the starting quarterback. And then he talked a lot about Keelan Russell, compared him to Michael Penix, his ability and vision downfield. And that's exciting too. Michael Penix was a player that they coached, him and DeBoer, at Indiana and then eventually at Washington, right? And almost won a national championship. There were a few playmakers away from doing that. So for them to say that about Keelan Russell, or for him to say that, Ryan Grubb, about Keelan Russell, that Keelan Russell is the future of the program, the consensus 5-star and the Gatorade Prep Player of the Year for all sports. And him coming in, trying to learn, pick up the system, probably not going to contend this year for a starting quarterback role, but he's QB3 right now, and just trying to suck in all that knowledge from Grubb, who when these guys love Michael Penix. If they say you're like Michael Penix, that's a really cool thing. Now, Austin Mack came with Grubb from Washington and DeBoer from Washington, and eventually Grubb would not be the offensive coordinator. But there's some reasons why they wanted Austin Mack to be part of this program, and I think it's really interesting because as he's going to tell you here in this clip, it sounds like they wanted him to have the opportunity to learn under Mike.
Yeah, I've always believed in Austin. I think he's got a big upside. Obviously, I thought he really had done a great job working on his technique, throwing motion, things like that. I can tell he's been working hard over the last year. So, and he's a very bright kid. I know that he can process the offense. He came into our system really, really young, 17-year-old freshman. And kind of the thought there was when we got Austin to Washington was that he would have 6 months with Mike Penix and kind of see how it's supposed to be done. And I certainly think he's gravitated to that. And it looks like he's matured a lot, and excited to be with him.
So again, a lot of great compliments for Austin Mack. And what's really interesting about this quarterback battle is you have three very different players, and they bring three different things to the table. You start with Ty Simpson. He is the presumed starter, right? He's the guy that was the backup for the last couple of years, lost the quarterback battle to Jalen Milroe last season, which really, I guess, technically now 2 seasons ago, right? And has been behind the scenes. You hear that he's getting better and better, a former 5-star who came from a family. His dad was a college coach, and he's picked up the pace of the game. Obviously, he's prepared for the opportunity to lead. And this should be, if everything goes as planned, right? He stays healthy, does the things that he's capable of doing. This should be his job. And I don't think anybody would argue with that. He gives Alabama the best chance to go out and win game 1 under center. Now, Austin Mack is their guy. I mean, let's be honest. He came to Washington to play for Coach DeBoer and Coach Grubb. They recruited him. They knew his family. They obviously were transferring to transferring to Alabama, for DeBoer taking the job at Alabama with Grubb, and he came and he played as a backup for a season behind Michael Penix. Michael Penix obviously is their favorite player, and he should be. He's one of the real great quarterbacks that have come out of college in the last few years, and now with the Falcons, by the way. So I know some of you guys are hoping that he's able to translate that in the NFL, right? But will he know their system better? They understand the skill set that he brings, but he also has the knowledge and the ability to know what they're doing, because obviously he's played under them before. He was a backup last year and behind the scenes and going to the meetings, and he knows Grubb. He's got a relationship there where Ty Simpson wouldn't. And I feel like this is an open quarterback battle. And if he ends up proving to be the guy that maybe wins the locker room over and at the same time understands the playbook and the plays and gives Alabama the best chance to win, he's a guy to keep an eye on. And then finally, Keelan Russell, who is, this amazing talent that Alabama is excited about having, that eventually his number 12 jersey will be on everybody's back. He comes in with the same steam and enthusiasm and hype as Ryan Williams. And we saw what Williams did last year. Bryce Young, you remember what Bryce Young did. He won a Heisman. Keelan Russell, in a different way, maybe not as silent, as cerebral as Bryce Young, but he comes in a little bit more boisterous, a little more confident, but great skill set. And listening to Ryan Grubb talk about this kid that's back there and just has this ability to know where the ball is on the field. He called it wide vision. That's exciting. And it was really cool to see Ryan Grubb talk about that. Now, told you I was going to talk about wide receivers. Let me let Grubb talk about the wide receivers, and then we're going to get into that. But this wide receiver room, even with 6 defections last year in the transfer portal, feels like it's going to be a lot better than last year's. And that's really saying something.
Man, that is a talented room. And we're excited. I think, for Ryan, I think some of the contested catches and, he can separate so well already. But just, you can already see the guy sitting in the front row at every meeting, wants to be, he's a sponge. He wants to get better, and he's asking questions, and I think that he will. I mean, I think the versatility on how you can use Ryan inside and outside is something that makes him a unique player.
And there you go. And that's exciting. This offense is going to have Jeremy Bernard, who's going to be kind of, I'm guessing, the possession wide receiver, a guy that you can move around a little bit, but you're going to throw the ball. I'm guessing that Bernard's going to see a lot of balls this year thrown his way. Jalen Hale maybe being a guy that can take the top off of the defense, use his speed, get downfield. Isaiah Horton, who's another guy that can make a lot of catches, coming in from Miami. The transfer, that gives Alabama three really good options. Oh, and then don't forget about Ryan Williams, who is electric, who is absolutely off the charts, amazing, has that what I described as Prince type ability, where he just has this thing about him that's special. Yeah, Prince, the performer, the all-time great musician. There's just this, this really coolness that he has. Is that even a word? But I love watching the guy play, the way that he runs. But how about knowing that Ryan Williams is sitting up front in the meeting, right? You see the Tide That Binds, the TV show, and they're talking about Ryan Williams, how many more reps he wants than everybody else. Him working on trying to strengthen his ankles, because he knows that with a body like him and speed like him, that's where injuries happen. So all of those things set up for Alabama to get into the next practice, which will be tomorrow, and then just start building. And then you get into spring break, and then they come back, and we'll see what happens here. But having Ryan Grubb as offensive coordinator already makes this entire coaching staff better. It makes Alabama a different feel around the facility, and it gives the Crimson Tide kind of a little bit of an edge that I don't think they had last year. And I think that's what really makes him and DeBoer such a great tandem, is that Grubb brings that edge to the table. And I know a lot of you guys are going to be, hey, there's some other wide receivers that you got to mention in this group too, not just those four. Yeah, I'm telling you, it's a deep room. Derek Meadows was somebody that Coach DeBoer talked about. I'm so excited about him. I love watching Cole Adams out there make catches and plays, and but Latsier Brooks. I mean, there's some guys that can do some things, and it's going to be fun to see how talented this wide receiver room is going to end up being before it's all said and done. All right, guys, a couple things I want to talk about. Use our promo code Bama Tailgate and take advantage of one of the great deals that we're running right now, celebrating the Super. Take advantage of our deal right now, 25% off with the promo code Bama Tailgate, newlifeart.com. And look, you can pick one of these two prints. Pick them both. It doesn't matter. That's Jalen Hurts scoring the touchdown to beat Georgia, Crimson Redemption. And then there's Devontae Smith in the end zone against the LSU Tigers, Heisman Heights. 25% off Bama Tailgate when you get to the site, newlifeart.com, and then Bama Tailgate and check out. So do that, take advantage of it. And again, we appreciate that. And then also our friends at Pearl River Resort. It's been a tough week for all of us at Pearl River Resort with the loss of our very good friend, Ryan Griffin, and going to his funeral later today. But we with heavy hearts, I tell you that Pearl River Resort has been a great partner to us. You guys head over from Tuscaloosa. It's an hour and a half, two and change from Birmingham, but the Azaleas, the Oaks at Dancing Rabbit Golf Course, it's the Augusta you could play. The Timeout Sports Lounge will be there for March Madness. Well, when they drop the brackets, Bo Bounds and I are actually going to do a show there that you'll be able to see right here on the channel. So take advantage of that. Come out and hang out. But the Timeout Sports Lounge is a Vegas-style sports book, and it's right in your backyard over at Pearl River Resort. So we appreciate them. Blue Oyster Cult is going to be performing there next month. Tickets available. So check them out. Godzilla, one of their big songs.
To Pearl River Resort.